Humanity has loved ciphers throughout history. It deciphered hieroglyphs, read tablets, and broke machines. But there is one book that seems to have been written specifically to resist being solved. 240 pages of parchment made of calfskin, thousands of illustrations, tens of thousands of words. But not a single human being alive today can read these words with full understanding. Science calls it the Voynich Manuscript. It calls it a mystery, a file. I only ask one thing. What if this book didn't come from the geography we know, but from inside another model? Perhaps what we call the beyond of the earth is not physical. Maybe it's a layer, a door, a way of reading. Today, we aren't providing answers, we are only cracking the door open. The story begins in 1912. Wilfrid Voynich, a Polish antiquarian. A dusty chest in an old Jesuit library in Italy. The chest opens, and the book emerges. No name on the cover, no date, no author. It's as if it was intentionally left anonymous. In the early days, they said it might be a fake, created just to sell the mystery. Then the laboratory spoke. Carbon tests. It dates the parchment to the 1400s. In other words, someone actually produced this book during that period. But why? To keep a secret, to preserve a tradition, or just so it would exist? The first section, Botany. Approximately 113 plant drawings. The details are remarkably consistent. Roots, leaves, veins. But scientists look at them, and there is no exact match. Some look familiar, but not quite. And here is the main issue. Can you draw something you've never seen so systematically? If this is a fantasy, why is it so structured? Perhaps these drawings are not describing another place, but another layer. In mythologies, there is sometimes the geography of the afterlife, sometimes a forbidden zone, sometimes an ice ring. We aren't making claims, we are asking questions. Are these plants a fairy tale, or a forgotten catalog? The second section. Astronomy. Circular diagrams, charts, symbols resembling zodiac signs. Familiar at first glance, but inconsistent upon closer inspection. The number of stars doesn't match. The positions are shifted. And the question arises, if this book was written here, which sky was the author looking at? Perhaps the map isn't of the sky, but of a direction. In closed system narratives, direction is established with a fixed reference, a stable point, a sign. Are these symbols a calendar, or a transition schedule? We've come to the most unsettling pages. There are pools, canals, lines like connecting pipes, and figures. Some dismiss them as bath scenes, but would such a complex connection system be drawn just for bathing? There are two possibilities here. Either this is a symbolic depiction of a ritual, or a schematic of a process. And the hardest question, what if this section is about the transformation of the human? I'm not saying biology, I'm not saying faith, I'm certainly not saying politics. I'm only asking this. Why is the human referred to as a being that is reconstructed in some narratives? The next section. The pharmacy. Jars, bottles, roots, leaves, and pages of paragraphs written next to them. You wouldn't establish such a complex system for a simple headache. So the question is, do these recipes describe healing or transformation? Ancient narratives feature themes like longevity, the Golden Age, and lost knowledge. We aren't claiming it exists, we are only asking this. What if some information was truly hidden? If the hidden thing is not the medicine, but the method? The biggest wall, the language, Voynichese. The letters are fluid and rhythmic, like music. And there is something strange, there are almost no corrections in the book. It's as if it was written without pause for 240 pages. This brings two things to mind,
Either the author truly wrote in their native language or this script was produced like a flow. Well, what if this language is not a spoken language? What if it wasn't written for sound or meaning, but to operate? A system language, a key language.
In 2018, the headlines shouted, "Solved." They claimed it was Hebrew, Malay, or other languages. But there is no clear solution in sight. Because artificial intelligence does this. It generates predictions based on the data it has. But here, it's as if there is no data, only a door. And the key to the door might not be a word. Perhaps it's the context, the direction, or a reference. Or maybe our minds always start from the wrong place, because we mistake this text for a text. Now, let's put the pieces together. The plants are unidentified, the stars are inconsistent, the language is undecipherable. These three coming together leave a single impression. This book does not tell, it points. Some mythological cosmologies depict a layered universe, the water motif above and below, the idea of a dome, the idea of a plane. We aren't presenting these as proof. We are asking, what if this book works like a technical language for ancient cosmologies? What if the idea of a transition called Wordgate is not just a fairy tale, but a map language?
Voynich is in a crate at Yale today. MS408. Behind glass. But the real lock is not on the glass. The power of this book is this. It doesn't give us answers. It forces us to ask questions. What if this is an archive leak? What if it's a traveler's notebook? What if a culture left it so we wouldn't forget? None of these questions are certain, but all of them are possible. And our job is not to sell certainty. We are cracking the door open. Now I leave you with a single question. If this book is a system and the system's language cannot be solved, the key might be in the wrong place. We look for letters. Perhaps it provides direction. We look for meaning. Perhaps it shows a threshold. We expect a story. Perhaps it is a door. And a tougher question. What if this book is a record left by someone who made a transition? Could it be the notebook of a traveler passing through a Wordgate? Wordgate is not just passing from one place to another. Sometimes it is passing from one thought to another. Here, we target no belief. We touch no one's identity. There are only questions. And we are not afraid to ask them. What do you think? Voynich, a book or a direction? Thank you. The sky is only a beginning.